Hi, beautiful people. Welcome back to Your Welcome. When you first start to do the inner work, it's so natural to waver between negative and positive thoughts because your brain is still working on itself. Like, you're still working on changing your mindset. And just like any habit, it's going to take time for it to completely sink in. So while you're knee deep in the process of beginning your inner work, it's so important to make sure that you are positioning yourself for success. When you're positioning your mindset for success, it's so important to detox in order to get the best results. And just like when you're detoxing your body, or just like with anything, just like with any addiction, I will say, whether that's drugs, alcohol, caffeine, because technically we can be addicted to anything. And I think society, we focus so much, which I mean is important. We focus so much on addictions when it comes to like alcohol and substance abuse. But what about mindset? What about mindset? Because if you are addicted to thinking negatively, you really have to work at beginning to think positively, more positive about yourself, more positive about what you can do in this lifetime, more positive about your worth. Like, it takes real time to do. And honestly, changing your mindset is so hard because when you change your mindset, you're changing everything about your life. I feel like when you change your mindsets, even sometimes those addictions don't, again, I'm no expert on that, but when you change your mindset and you know your worth and you start to think more positively about your life and you adapt new neural pathways, your brain does, you're essentially changing your entire makeup, like you're in DNA makeup. You're changing how you process things in the world. You're changing how you show up. You're changing your habits. Like, everything changes because you know your worth. And so when you do that, just like with any addiction, you really want to detox from the things that are no longer serving you, at least for a while, especially in the beginning. So that way your brain has, again, a better chance for success when it comes to reshaping your mindset. So here are 3 tips that I recommend as far as a detox in order to get the best results and position your mindset for success. Number 1, get real comfortable with being alone. I think being alone allows you to be the gentle observer of your thoughts because you're eliminating the thoughts from other people, right? Because when you're surrounding other people, it's so easy to take on their limited beliefs. It's so easy to adapt their habits and all of that, especially when you don't know yourself, when you don't know your worth, when you struggle with knowing what your values are, what your ethics are, what your morals are, what you like in life, and you have allowed other people to shape your life, you need to spend more time alone. When you allow yourself to spend more time alone, you're able to process your thoughts. You're able to take point A and point B and realize, oh, that's why we think that way, right? And in spending more time alone, that can also include going to therapy, doing these things that are important for reshaping your mind, but you want to eliminate the outside world, basically. Being the observer of your thoughts, not judging your thoughts, not like compartmentalizing, right? And instead of feeling your way through, just putting it aside, because all of that is not helping your brain. We need to detox and flush these things out. And the more time you spend by yourself and the more you're able to catch those negative thoughts, the easier it is to not feel like you're taking on other people's problems, you're taking on other people's thoughts, because you know yourself more. You've challenged your brain to think, what is it that I really want out of life? Who am I? Like, these are really important questions that you really need to ask yourself when you're doing your inner work journey. And believe me, as hard as it is sometimes, I'm naturally an introvert, but Shawty likes to go outside, be with her friends and lollygag. It gets easier when you do it by yourself. And of course, just like with any detox, you're gonna feel tempted to do something to distract yourself from thinking about your mistakes, from thinking about the things that you did in your life that you didn't exactly like, from thinking about your childhood beliefs and your thought patterns and how you've really developed, based on other people. Once you really challenge yourself and challenge your belief systems and challenge the way that you were brought up and what actually aligns with me, then you're really helping your brain to set yourself up for, okay, like, I know that doesn't resonate with me. I know that doesn't resonate with me. And you're able to have the courage and the strength to stand up for yourself, to stand up for what you believe more, because you're not depending and reliant on old cycles, old belief patterns that don't serve you anymore. And I think that's something that a lot of people struggle with, is Everyone wants to be around community. Everyone feels like, you know, and community is very important. Like, we're social creatures. We're not supposed to be alone. But if you're doing it to distract yourself, just like with drinking or any addiction, if you're doing it to distract yourself from doing the hard work, that's where the problem lies. Okay, and this segues right into number 2, which is changing your environment and the people in your life. And obviously, I don't recommend this for the rest of your life, but especially in the beginning, it's important to change the patterns, right? Like, we're working on ourselves. And just like with any addiction, if you surround yourself with alcohol, if you surround yourself with people who are abusing substances, if you surround yourself with caffeine, like if you're addicted to Coca-Cola and you can't go to a Coca-Cola factory right when you're trying to stop drinking Coke. Like, I had a teacher who was addicted to Coca-Cola, and that really changed the way I thought about addiction. So there's that. Like, you have to change who you're surrounding yourself with, the places that you're going. So creating distance between yourself and toxic environments, toxic people, so that you can really have the best results for your mindset and have a fresh new perspective on things. And when you're doing the inner work, it's the perfect time to audit your inner circle. And in this audit, you can really assess and analyze who makes me feel my best, who makes me feel my worst, who keeps it real with me and tells me and checks me when I'm in the wrong, or when they see me doing something that I shouldn't be doing that they know doesn't align with what I said I wanted for my life. And who is enabling my bad habits, who's like, no, this is gonna be fun, like woo woo woo. Like, you really wanna check and do an audit of the environment and who you're surrounding yourself with. And during this time, you can obviously, for the people who make you feel good, continue to surround yourself around those people. Surround yourself around the people who have the mindset that is similar to you. Surround yourself with people, if you say, I'm not doing XYZ, that are not going to try to tempt you to do those things. And if you don't have anyone like that in your life, then there are ways to make friends. And yes, it's hard. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, when I moved here to Atlanta in 2018, I had one friend, and not really that much of a reliable friend at that. No shade, like, I love her, but she wasn't someone that we all the way aligned on everything. And so it took me a very long time to find like-minded people. But it's easier now because we have so many social events, community events. There are apps that allow that. So there's this one app that I downloaded that I've met people on. What's it called? Let me find it. Oh, it's called Clock Out, and it's a networking app. But I went to a lunch with some women, and we were all so like-minded. We were all ambitious women, and it really like motivated me. You really want to surround yourself with people who, even if you aren't quite there yet, who are doing better than you, because it gives you ambition and motivates you to get to that place, especially when they're encouraging. I have friends around me who have made and accomplished things that I seek to accomplish, and they encourage me so much. Like, I have a couple of friends, especially in real estate. I have a couple of friends, and they know what my goals are. They know what I'm shooting for this year, and they just have told me over and over again, which I never get tired of hearing, like, I'm so proud of you, like, I'm so excited for you. Like, they're not haters, they are encouraging me and just really like on board with where I want to go in my life. And they know where I've been, and they know that I have what it takes to be where I want to be. And so their encouragement and their motivation has propelled me even further. Like, you have no idea. It's really important to surround yourself with people who make you feel good. And so in this time, audit your circle, audit who you're surrounding yourself with, and really strive to be around people who are where you want to be, or at least have the same mindset as you, and you guys are all striving and can build that community together. So because I took a break from certain people, certain environments, now when I put myself in those environments, I am strong enough to be able to handle other people's limited beliefs. I'm strong enough to be able to say no when I don't want to do something, because I'm no longer feeling like, oh, if I like anxious about it, like, oh, if I say no, will they still invite me places? Like, no, I don't want to, you know, and if they don't want to be in my life because of that, then fine. You know, you kind of have to leave people where they are. But for example, and this is what I say when it comes down to mindset and why it's important to really audit. Sometimes you can't control the people that you're surrounding yourself with. Sometimes you're just gonna meet someone randomly on the street and you're gonna be like, whoa, you triggered me. So for example, I went to a wedding last year. Well, I went to a lot of weddings last year, child, but one particular wedding I went to, the table that I was at, I didn't know anyone there. I went by myself, but they were talking at one point about money. And I don't believe money is evil. I've really worked hard, still working on my money mindset. Like that is, because I told y'all the inner work doesn't stop. The money mindset I've been really working on. And like, no, like these limited beliefs are simply that. Like they're limited beliefs. There's no truth to this. And one thing that really stood out to me is like they were just like rolling their eyes when it came to like talking about rich people and money and saying that money was evil, money was a bad thing. And I didn't say a word during that conversation. I kept my head down, I drank my little margarita, and I ate my little cake or whatever. So I'm like, I don't agree. And so I'm not gonna even pretend that I agree. So those are people that I didn't know, but people that I do know, I really try to challenge them too. Like, why do you think like that? Like, why do you think that you aren't capable? Because with me changing my mindset and encouraging myself, it can allow me to encourage other people. And by me changing my mindset and getting all the things that I want out of life, I'm becoming an exemplary or an example to them of what is possible, because they're like, they see someone in real time who is changing their life and they realize I'm no different from her. And that's something that I had to realize about my friends who are really successful. Like I'm no different, like they're no different than me. There's nothing about them that is so special that makes them the only one in the world who can be successful or do certain things. You realize that the world is your oyster, and that sounds really corny, but you realize that like the world is like, there's so much prosperity in the world. There's so much to like abundance. There's so much that you can do, and it's not limited to one person or to a certain amount of people. You can have what you want. And when your mindset changes, you kind of no longer even want to be surrounded by that. Like you might have some friends that you see potential in, and so you're like, okay, because you know, everyone's on a journey. But if people who are toxic for your new lifestyle, you kind of just like naturally distance yourself from them, or they naturally distance themselves from you. And that's not to say that like you aren't so cordial or friends, or you see each other every now and then. They're just not a part of your close-knit inner circle, and that is fine. You kind of have to leave people where they are or allow them to come around. So that was number 2, auditing your inner circle, really thinking about your environments, really assessing who makes you feel good, who's encouraging you, who's inspiring you, and going in further in that direction. Okay, and number 3 is adopting a new routine and doing things that are productive for your new brain. In all of these tips, we are doing things that are supporting developing new neurological pathways, developing new ways of thinking, developing an entire new mindset. So again, comparing it to addiction in that way, you have to eliminate the things that aren't good for you. Eliminate the toxic behaviors and the toxic habits. And so we've already talked about eliminating toxic people and environments. So let's talk about eliminating toxic habits, toxic things that you're doing. The point of all this, and this is something that I've mentioned before, is pouring good things into you. Because just like with anything, like I said on my last podcast episode when I talked about habits and the big habits that are really going to like change your nervous system, eliminating the things that are just going to exasperate and enable the bad toxic things that you're trying to rid yourself of. And this is like when you're going on a diet or you are changing the way that you're eating. You're not gonna, like, you want to stay away from fast food, right? Like if you say like, I want to lose X amount of weight, then you know you shouldn't be going to McDonald's every day, right? You know that you shouldn't be eating candy late at night or doing the things that you know aren't going to help you to lose weight. So it's the same thing with changing your mindset. So what I started doing more, and this is something that I did before I started my inner work journey, but that I took really seriously starting in 2023-ish time, is changing the things that I was watching. So watching more positive things. So watching interviews. I love the Immigrant podcast. I mean, I love my podcast too, but obviously I don't interview people as of yet. But watching interview podcasts like the Immigrant one, I think hers is called Aspire. Watching documentaries of people that you admire, or people, random people that are successful that, you know, are doing it morally and ethically for the most part. So I watched recently, well, not recently, but like in the last year, I watched the Pamela Anderson one. I was having like a down day, not really a down day, but a day where I was just in my head. So I watched the Pamela Anderson one, and just to see like, oh wow, like it just really changed the way that A, I thought about her, but B, like this world hates women, but C, like it was just really encouraging and motivating. Like, wow, she really made it through all of this, and she like just restarted her career. Like she was out of the game for years, and now look at her, no makeup, doing it her way, making tons of money, all these deals and products and stuff that she's coming out with, just that aligns with who she is today and not the sex symbol that we knew her as. You know, it's just really important to because it helps you to go like, oh, if they did it, I can do it too. Whether that's a celebrity or a normal person, if they can do it, I can do it too. It's just such a refreshing reminder to know like I'm not alone and someone else has been through this and they got to the other side. So why not me? I can do that too. Okay, and obviously journaling. I will talk about journaling till the cows come home, child. I love journaling. And when you journal, just like with therapy, you can really get to the nitty-gritty of why you think like that. So even with auditing your inner circle, you can write down your friends and say like what you love about them, how they treat you, what makes you feel good about them. And that can really give you that aha moment of who you need to keep in your life and who needs to go. And that's with anything. You can do that with anything in your life as far as an audit goes. Journaling when it comes like down to future self and telling yourself like, wow, I remember when I really struggled with my mindset, and now it's just so much easier for me to eliminate the negative thoughts, be like, okay, that's to be the observer and go, okay, like that's that, but that's not the truth, that's not the reality. Okay, and then number 3 of tip 3 is working out, doing workouts or stuff that's going to challenge you. Because I put working out as an example, because when I remember 2023 just starting my Pilates journey as well, and why I decided to do Pilates and why it really resonated with me was because it was a super mindful activity. It was a workout and it really challenged me. And so I could notice like when my body felt more toned. I noticed when I could do a move more easier than I could when I first started. And that really encouraged me to keep going, because I'm like, wow. Or when you're in plank, and no one likes planks, child, but when you're in plank and you have like 16 seconds left, and you're like, I can do this, I can do this. And you push yourself past that limit, you feel so good after. I think Arnold Schwarzenegger said that, or was it Rocky? I mean, I know Rocky's not a real person, whatever his real name is. Like I think when he does push-ups or abs, that he curls or whatever, he does 1 extra or 2 extra, because it really challenges him and his brain that like your body is more powerful than your brain. And so sometimes, especially with working out, our brains will say, we can't do this, we can't do this. Or our bodies will say, we can't do this, we can't do this. But our brain is like, no, we got this. You really got to train your brain to say, no, we got this. We can keep going, and challenge yourself to keep going. Running, like I hate running, but I used to really challenge myself with running and like challenge myself like, okay, let me get a whole mile done. And when you challenge yourself and you also have a reward, like add a reward to it, it encourages you, because you're like, whoa. So my challenge for myself, I'm going to use myself as an example, is recording every single week. Yes, am I busy? Yes, but am I only going to get busier? Yes, because I want to be 10 times more successful than I am. And am I more successful than I was last year? Absolutely. Was I more successful last year than I was the year before that? Yes. So do I just see my life getting more successful, and does that mean I'll probably be busier when I have a husband, kids? Yes. So that means not making excuses and getting it done, no matter if I'm tired or anything, getting it done, because that is setting myself up for my future. So I told myself, if I don't record and edit and post a video and content, I can't go out with my friends that weekend. I can't reward myself with that meal that I love, that I always get, you know, to reward myself for a great week. No, because I didn't do everything that I was supposed to do. This is something that I believe in. And so if I believe in it, if I believe that I can do this, then let me be like consistent, you know? So that is an example of what I have been doing to punish and reward myself for when I do the things I said I was gonna do. Okay, so that was number 3, adopting a new routine, adopting new habits that are going to encourage you and motivate you and increase your chances of success when you're changing your mindset. So that is this week's episode. I hope that this was helpful per usual. I really think that positioning yourself for success works. I don't just believe that, I know it to be true, because I'm a living example. And I think that there are some people around me that go, whoa, like for example, guys, I made the top list at my brokerage for like clients or for sales. And I have never made that list before. I made that list so far this year. And yes, has a year ended? No, but it is April and I am kicking ass. And so I'm so proud of myself. And I'm sure that people are like, whoa, like, and I don't care. Like, I want to be, like, some people are going to hate on that. Who cares? I focus on myself. I focus on the people who are encouraging me, the people who are inspired by me, because The better I do, the more I show people what's possible. And same thing for you. The better you do, the more you show people in your life, people who you don't even know. Like, you don't know who you're encouraging. And that is encouragement for me to keep going. I hope this episode was helpful. If it was, I would love a 5-star, a new subscribe if you're on YouTube, or a download, or a subscribe, a follow, whether if you're on podcast, whether that's Apple or Spotify. I would love comments, questions, anything of that nature. If you have any advice that you would like or if you need advice about something, my email is in the description, but it's hello@simoonwellness.com. Happy to give some suggestions as well. So yeah, I hope that this episode was helpful. I hope you guys have a blessed weekend, and I will talk to you guys next week. Bye.